stooges, dupes, and whores that stalkers follow me around. They're going to start coming through here. But basically what this comes down to is that, after 16 months, it's pretty easy to figure that they steal my mail. Okay, they control my email, and if they want to, they can alter the text in my email. Nothing goes out that helps me. Just they alter it, make it sound bad. That causes them to continue their investigation based on the alterations in the emails, downloads, and attachments that they make. Nothing good comes in because they can block any kind of incoming email. Okay, that would benefit me, employment, or anything associated with it. Good news, let's say. And if they want to see this, because they can keep this investigation going on in perpetuity, that also allows them to grab mail. For instance, I won't get paid from this Australian guy through the freelance service because they'll grab the paycheck. You see, the way they do that is they'll say it's part of their investigation because they can alter the attachments that went to that guy in Australia with the server in D.C. And then the paycheck will become part of their investigation, right? Yeah, they used to do that with the exhibits to the court too. Something they didn't want to see entered into the court record, they'd just steal it, and just say it was part of their investigation. So I already know how that works. And that allows them to keep me on the street, and keep me on the street makes it easy to know where I am all the time. They can run stooges, dupes, and whores at me all day long, wherever I go. Library, coffee place, get something to eat, doesn't matter. They got something for every situation. And the same third stringers hang around, if I sit down at Starbucks or McDonald's or wherever it is, they crowd in around me and sit there, try to be annoying. And sometimes they try to steal my passwords, when I'm logging in or something like that, which is pretty easy to do. That'll allow them to get rid of any the video. The website's corrupted, I already know that. They can alter the text on the website. I've seen pictures on there that were blocked by a pop-up blocker that I didn't put there. And then they disappear. They come back. So they can screw around with the website too. Anything I do over the internet, they control it basically. They control mail, whether I get mail or not. I'll never get statements, for instance. If I wanted to get court records or documents of any kind, they just steal those too. So that pretty much puts them in control of anything I do. Especially the employment, which is critical to them. And if I had a even a cheap little weekly place, and I was making enough money to pay for it, I could lock the door behind me and I wouldn't have to put up with it. But because they can steal a paycheck, or make sure that any income looks like it's coming from an illegal source, the currency's always marked. You want to do, like weed pulling work, for instance. The currency looks like it's coming from an illegal source, which they can control that too. I mean, for all I know, some guy could, rob a bank, and they'll get the money, and then make sure that I'm walking around with some of the currency they've already identified as being part of some illegal activity. Another thing that's easy to do. Yeah, I used to think these guys are really smart, but actually this is just like third grader stuff, it's not that complicated. Once you control our communications, mail, and you can make alterations, at will, and you can pretty much do whatever you want, and that's why I'm not in a big rush to go, try to find out if my paycheck came in for doing the rewrites, because I already know the guy's server's in D.C. The whole thing was a setup. I got another guy now asking me for my email address, trying to go around the freelance service. So I'll send him emails which they can alter. I told him that no, I don't want to do that. I want to go through the private messaging board, which gives me some kind of protection against what goes out on my email, the attachments and whatnot, which I've sent to the guy as freelance writing, and I guess he doesn't like that too much. He's also an Australian guy with a P.O. box in Herndon, Virginia, which is right next to D.C. It's Same as Roadrunner, which is controlling the internet service here. Also in Herndon, Virginia. So that's pretty much it. I mean, with those tools available to them, they can starve me out. Make sure I never get paid. Make sure that any income that I do get from odd jobs or handouts or whatever looks incriminating to me. And the rest of the time, that just allows them to run these people at me, walk up to me, shove their hand in their backpack across my path, make a call to an illegal, somebody doing something illegal, and maybe in another country or something like that on their cell phone, which they got all that covered electronically as well, anything in an entire neighborhood. They pick up the cell phone calls and whatever's being discussed on those cell phone calls. Like, if people don't understand that, you got somebody down the street that's doing something illegal, they're picking up your calls too. They got listening devices, very sophisticated. They can be, half mile away, and they're picking up what I say right now. It's nothing electronically. They can screw around with foreign leaders doing this stuff, and some of these foreign leaders, they got their own security intelligence services themselves to try to protect themselves against sophisticated electronics like this. I don't, I'm just a guy walking around with a story that was handed to him, which I don't even really care about. I'm kind of bored with it. I don't really care either way. I didn't want anybody to, get their nose out of joint, because I was right. And it's just I got tired of being pushed around. I don't like big shots throwing me under the bus just because they think they can get away with it. So I started fighting back the only way I know how, and that's by writing about what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. And then in the end, connecting all the dots, which I think I've done. And if I can't communicate this stuff, by publishing, which they lock that down too. I can't publish anything. I go through the self-publishing place, and I don't even know what's going up there. I try to send them a PDF file, to try to make sure it's got some integrity. But it's just checked yesterday. It's not available. So it won't be available. To purchase, the story of what's going on either. So that's called containment. They have the power, the resources, and electronics, and the stooges, dupes, and whores to pull it off. And in a very briefest version, that's what's going on. After 16 months, this investigation's gone way past FISA court rules. I know that. That's why they're trying to run it from outside the country, and these things, calls get routed anywhere they want them to go. I have no idea. My call records that I see are not the same as the call records that they can come up with. They can cook up anything they want, as far as electronics go, call records included. So my call records that I see, I try to put them on video so I can say, hey, here's my call records, and they look more or less accurate, even though I don't remember every call. And but they got a whole different set of call records. It's child's play, with the technical expertise that they have to do these sort of things.